Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Marriage Man. Today we're going to be continuing our series in the People Code and understanding conflict. But first, take a minute to like, comment, or subscribe to this video, and follow me on Facebook or Twitter. And if you have any friends or family that you think could benefit from these videos, please feel free to share. Now, this is the second video out of 4. In the first video, we talked about reds and we kind of gave an introduction. So I would encourage you, if you haven't seen that already, please go back and check that video out. But you're still going to hear some good stuff in this video. All of this video started because I was asked on Facebook to explain the colors a little bit more in depth. So if you have any questions, or if you think that there's a topic that you would like to hear about, shoot me a private message on Facebook, shoot me an email. All my contact information is below, or hit me up on Twitch. Love to hear from you guys. So diving right in, let's talk about blues. Now, why am I calling certain people blue? All of these videos are based off of a book by Dr. Taylor Hartman called The People Code, in which he broke people up into reds, blues, whites, and yellows. And what made a red or a blue or a white or a yellow had to do with what do you want? What do you want more than anything else? Now, as I talked about in the last video, reds and blues kind of fall into a similar group in that they are both very driven individuals, and that drive comes from inside of them. With reds, it was logic. They think this makes sense. But with blues, it comes from the heart. It comes from emotion. Blues are feelers. They tend to have very strong emotions, and they use those emotions to connect with people. Because what makes a blue is that what they want more than anything else in this world is intimacy. So for blues, relationships are the whole point of life. Blues typically have a group of people that mean a lot to them. This could be a dating partner, this could be a team that they're on, a company that they are with, a country that they're a member of, it could be a family. Whatever this group of people is, that group means a lot to the blue, and they're going to pour their life into that group and make that group better and make those connections stronger. And so with blues, they need 4 things. Now, if you are listening and you're not a blue, but maybe you know a blue that's in your life, take note, because these are really important things to know. First and foremost, blues need to be good people. Why is that? Because again, blues are very emotional. They have strong emotions. They get angry, they get disappointed, they get happy. They get a lot of different emotions going on inside of them. And those emotions are how they make sense of the world. Blues tend to feel their way through the world. This feels like you're lying to me. This feels like you're telling me the truth. This feels like a good situation. This feels safe. And so they rely on their gut, their instinct, their intuition to interpret the world. And so they have to trust that their moral compass that they're using to sort of kind of pick their direction is working. So blues need to be good people. They need to know that what's inside of me that's reacting to this situation, that's making me mad, that's making me stand up and say no, that's a good thing. And so blues are always kind of checking back in with themselves. Did I say the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Blues typically love counseling. Blues typically love self-help because it's all about being a better person. Blues are perfectionistic in that regard. They try to be perfect not because they're afraid of failure. That's more of a different color. It's because that's the right way to do things. Blues are very much so about right and wrong. Unlike a red that we talked about last week where there's right and there's stupid, blues, there's right and there's wrong. There's a right way to be a family member. There's a right way to be a friend. And so they're always kind of checking in, did I do the right thing? Because they need that. If blues ever stop believing and trusting their gut and trusting their instinct, and they kind of stop listening to their emotions, a lot of times that's the equivalent of you and I closing our eyes and trying to feel our way through the world. You're going to go off a cliff. And blues tend to do that when they don't believe they're good people. Leads to all sorts of mental health issues. So they need that. The second thing that blues need is to be understood. Now this really comes in with relationships and conflict. Because when blues are feeling this way and they're kind of checking in, did I do the right thing? Did I say the right thing? What is the next natural step? Asking somebody, hey, do you think I did the right thing there? Do you think that was the right thing to say? Do you think I was too hard on that person? So blues are all about those relationships of their friends, their family members, their teammates, kind of checking in and saying, would you have done that? Would you have said that? And so blues are very much so open to like emotions and talking about deep stuff, and they need that. They also need, in that context of being understood, is if they are fighting with their partner. So this is where we kind of get into relationships, is if you're in a relationship with a blue, what does the blue need from you? They need you to understand their point of view. They don't need you to agree, but they need you to see, do you see where I'm coming from? Do you see why I got so upset? Do you see why what you did or what you said made me so angry or hurt me so much? And they need you to be able to say, yeah, I get it. Because when they get that, that tells them, okay, you reacted like a normal human being. You're still a good person. Because this person, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, is sitting there going, yeah, I would have reacted the same way. It makes sense. They need that. So for them, a conflict is over, it's done, it's finished when the other person sees their point of view. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice if you're a blue or you're in a relationship with a blue. Typically, blues take the longest to resolve a fight. Meaning that if you've got two people and they're arguing, typically whites and yellows get what they need pretty quick and they're done. Reds go a little bit longer and they got what they needed and then they're done. But typically blues are left sitting there unresolved. Blues typically have a lot of unresolved conflict because unfortunately it takes a long time for a blue to get to the point. This is both good and bad because typically what a blue is going to do is that, okay, yes, I hurt you. Yes, that's a point. But this, then this, but what about this and this? And what they're doing is that they need you to follow these dots that they're connecting back to this point of, I'm still a good person. So yes, I hurt your feelings, but that blah, 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 da, 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 da. Do you see my point of view? I'm still a good person. And they need you to be able to follow that wherever it leads to get there. Unfortunately, that can take a lot of time. And a lot of times, if you're fighting with a blue, you're done by that point. So for blues, a lot of times what they have to learn is to get to the point quicker, which might mean outside of the fight doing some homework. But this means that if you're in a relationship with a blue, like this is a family member, a coworker, or your significant other, just understand that probably they're going to bring stuff back up, and they're typically going to be called ambushers, unable to move on from the past because you didn't resolve it to their satisfaction. You got what you needed from the fight, and the fight was over for you, but your partner, co-worker, family member didn't. And so just understanding that they need more than you. Now, the third thing that blues need is to be accepted for who they are. Blues can't be fake. They really don't like it. Blues are all about transparency because in their mind, the best way that you can have a relationship with somebody is just put it all out on the table. Here's all my good parts, here's all my bad parts, because now you can understand me. So typically, like a blue parent is going to be somebody who says, you know what, mommy did drugs, so don't do drugs. If you're in a relationship with a blue, they're going to tell you about maybe bad relationships that they had, dark secrets from their past, because that's how you get to know somebody. Now, the problem with that is blues are literally the only color that do that. Reds don't want to do that because what's the point? Whites don't want to do that because it's uncomfortable. Yellows don't want to do it because it's not fun. And so a lot of times blues can end up feeling like they're the only ones that take relationships seriously because compared to the other colors and the other people in their life, they do. The fourth thing that blues need is to be valued for who they are, because who they are is good people. Now, but what they do is they're nags. They can be perfectionistic. They can be really just driving hard. They can push. Blues typically are kind of like sheepdogs, nipping at the heels of the sheep and driving them forward. And This is true in relationships, in families, on teams. Typically the blue is the one saying, come on, we need to be better. We need to be better. This isn't okay. We can't just accept this. We have to be better. And that is very uncomfortable for members of that family or team or marriage. And while that's true, that the blue is making you uncomfortable, they don't want to be judged and valued for that. They want to be judged for why. Why am I not satisfied? Why do I keep asking for more? Why do I keep pointing out your faults? It's because I love you. It's because I want the best for you. And that's what they want to be judged on. But when blues are typically judged on how they make people feel, which is bad a lot of times, then they aren't being understood. And when they aren't being understood, blues will typically start to doubt whether or not they're good people. And so a lot of times in relationships, blues typically won't leave a relationship until they feel like they're broken, until they feel like they're toxic, until they start to believe within themselves, I'm a bad influence on this marriage, so I need to leave. Or I'm a bad member of this team, I'm just dragging the whole team down, so it's better if I leave. Blues tend to be very self-sacrificial in that regard. So I hope this has helped. If you are in a relationship with a blue, take good notes on this, look back over this video, because this is what blues need from you. Again, you need to recognize that they're good people, because they need that. You need to understand why they're doing what they're doing, not just based off of your feelings. Because again, blues are very strong emotional people, and they typically can make other members of relationships uncomfortable. Recognize that that is not coming from a place of anger or hatred or condemnation. It's coming from a place of love, even though it doesn't feel like that. They need to be understood, and they need to be accepted for who they are, and treasured for who they are as individuals, not for who you want them to be. And if you can do all that, and if you can give a blue that's in your life or in your relationship all of that, it's going to go so well between the two of you. If you have any questions, again, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Facebook as a private message, or just email me. Again, all my contact information is below. And we will be continuing this series in the next video, where we're going to be talking about my personal favorite, whites, of which I am one. So I will see you all in the next video, all right? Bye.